Hey guys, I saw that there's been a lot of confusion, so I was hoping that maybe I might be able to help you guys out just a little bit as far as the programming course and lab goes. One of the things that I've noticed with the programming course is that when you click on the lab and you go into the course, there's the Teams group here that you can join, and then you can go down and it has the start here and then your learning modules. When you click on the learning modules and you go into module 1, you have all of these options here, and this is specifically the lab portion of programming. So if you click on that, then this has all of the things that you need to do for this course for module 1. So you can look at your calendar and see that module 1 is due for the end of the 29th. So you need to go through each of these items and complete that for the end of the 29th. As far as the introduce yourself goes, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Most people have already done that. We can go back up here at our breadcrumb trail at the top, and they have this nifty little check mark option. So once you've completed each item, it looks like it registers it based off of when you view it. So if you have viewed the lab exercise 1, it'll give you a check mark. Of course, you would need to make sure that you submit those through Gradescope as seen in the lecture. Once you do that, then you're good to go. But I do like the check mark option as far as viewing it, so I know, at least on my end, that I have viewed everything that I need to do for this particular module. So that's the modules. As far as course home goes, what else do we have? So I have over here on the right side, I have updates. So I have unread discussion posts. I'm not going to read everybody's posts, so that's probably going to stay that way. But I can look at one quiz is not attempted. I can see that I did the syllabus quiz. Respondus setup quiz is the one that I haven't done. I'm not too worried about that. I will do that at another time. Everything else looks pretty self-explanatory. I see that they have a final exam topics, midterm topics, and that they've given us old exam and test questions to help us prep. I know that they're probably not going to put those questions on there, but you would be surprised. I have had instructors and professors in the past that have given the entire final exam throughout the semester. So definitely worth a look, taking a look at that. As far as the course textbook goes, again, I am still in the lab, programming fundamentals, so I can click on that. That's going to bring me to this first year experience. So with the first year experience, this is where I think a lot of people started getting confused. I know it was kind of confusing for me. So I just started at the beginning and I looked at the getting started, and no, I'm not going to read every single item, because I think if I were to read every document and every item, it would probably take me about a year to read everything that they have posted on here. They have given us a lot of information, which is awesome, but with asynchronous learning, it can be a little challenging if you don't have somebody that can kind of show you, like walk you through everything. So that was kind of the purpose of this video, was to kind of help you guys walk through the video, walk through the course. So we can take a look at the course schedules, labs and assignments. I think this is where a lot of people started getting confused. If you click on labs and assignments, you need to make sure that you know what language you're going through. I am going through C#, so I am on module 1. If I need the lab slides, I would click on C#. Lab 1, Intro to Programming, I would click again on C#. And the Word or PDF assignment 1 is made for all languages. So you would have to write your own code in your own language, but the programs will all do the same thing no matter what language you do. So that, I think that's where a lot of people are getting confused. So if you click on Lab Slide C#, it downloads the PowerPoint. If I click on C# for Lab 1, this is where I'm going to have my instructions. So you'll go through and it has setting up Visual Studios as far as creating a new project. I do want to show you guys something as far as Visual Studios goes. So let me go ahead and open up Visual Studios. So when you open up Visual Studios, you'll see that I have a bunch of assignments and labs over here, but this will initially be blank when you set up Visual Studios. First you'll want to do is create a new project. And depending on what language you're doing, I am doing C#, so as you can see I've got C# here, but it's also part of the lab instructions. If you look at them, they say you want to do the console application. It doesn't look exactly the same, but what you are looking for is this .NET Core over here. So if you can see at the top right on the screen, it says .NET Core. That is what you're looking for, because if you go through this list, you'll see that there are a lot of options, and if you scroll down further, and you just have to keep scrolling, all of these do a little bit different. You see this one says console app, which I think is what it says on the lab, but you'll see it says .NET Framework. For the purpose of the lab, you're doing .NET Core. So click on the first one. First one's usually the safe bet to go with. If you start getting into more advanced programming and you're needing specific infrastructure, then that's where all the rest of these start coming into handy. Again, I'm not an advanced programmer by any means. I just have been around the IT industry for a while. Next thing you want to do is you want to name it. So we're going to call this one Lab 1A. Make sure you pay attention to the capitalization. And I apologize, this is like, it's early for me. And we're going to go ahead and, because the file directory, I've already have a Lab 1A. Alright, so we're going to go back, and I'm going to call this one Test Run. Next. And I just leave this alone. You can do current. As far as this goes, this one's going to be your more long-term support. It's been in place. Current means that it possibly has bugs. That I'm guessing on this. I don't have an exact answer, but just from IT standpoint, always go with the default. Unless you know what you're choosing, always go with default. If you know what you're choosing, then go, by all means, go for it. All right, so now here we are. We've got our, we have our Visual Studios. I'm going to expand the screen here if I can, and it's still running. All right, so we've got our first system. Woohoo! So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this a little bit so that way I can get it into the recording. So here you see I've got my whole screen. So when you open up your first project, this is what it's going to look like. You see it's got your namespace Test Run. That's where we renamed it at the beginning. As far as the instructions on the lab goes, you can see here it has program. This is where you would want to rename it in the program that say Test Run, or to match whatever it is that you're doing. So I'm doing Test Run just for the sake of the video, but as far as the labs go, they want you to rename this as Lab 1A or Assignment 1A. So we'll take that here, and then you'll do your coding in here, and I'm not going to do the coding for you. I'm just showing you how to use Visual Studios. So now we're going to save our project, or save all. Um, Also, for those of you who have never used Visual Studio, so say you've done all of your coding and you want to see if it works, you come up here to test run and you hit play, the big play button. And if it works, it'll do this. And say, you can see here, it says hello world. And then you just press any key to close this window. So we're going to do exactly that. So now we've saved it and we're going to close it. But what happens if you want to change your code and you want to double check something? A lot of people will they'll open up Visual Studios and they'll click on test run. And it says preparing solution. And sometimes what will happen is it will look like this. When you open up your program, it will look just like this. And in order to go back and find it, I know as a beginning programmer, I didn't know what the heck was going on. So I wanted to do something, and what I ended up doing for the first couple of times until I figured it out, was I would just rewrite my program and redo all of my work. Obviously you can't do that, and as the life of a programmer, you need to be able to open it back up. So you come over here and click on this right here, and all of a sudden we have test run back open. So that is just a quick little tip for those of you who have never worked with Visual Studios. One other thing as well, so when you go into your files, Visual Studios automatically likes to create a file called repos. So if you go into your local C, and this is just drilling down for those of you who don't know where to find it, if you go under your name, and yes, my name is Kristen, you can see all of the folders and whatnot that are underneath your username. So you're looking for one that says source and then repos. And then this is where you'll find all of your saved projects that you have available. So as you can see, I have test run here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on test run. This right here is the .sln. This is not what they're looking for under Gradescope, so you have to go one more level down. So this is where you're going to find your CS file. So here you can see it says program.cs. You're just going to run a simple rename. It's probably not going to let me because I have it open. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm going to rename it test run. And this right here is what you're going to submit to Gradescope. I can show you same thing for lab. I go into lab 1A, lab 1A.cs. This is the one that I'm wanting to, oh, I don't want to name it. So that's the one that I'm going to submit. So when you go into Gradescope, you're going to submit this one. This one, and the same for lab 1C. And the same is true for assignments. You're going to go under assignment 1A, 1B, 1C. And then don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and open up Visual Studios one more time. Just because I know I've done it multiple times already, and I don't want any little bit of tidbits that I can help you guys with just to watch out would be wonderful. So here you can see this is my lab 1B. So make sure you put this at the top of every project that you're doing. It's in comments. The comments are not going to mess with your program. And I'm not showing you anything as far as my code goes because The lab 1A, B, and C are very easy, and it's like one character or something. Hint, hint. So here is the comment section, and this is where you're going to rename that program to lab. Alright guys, that is all I'm